What is going on, guys? Judo Sloth here, and welcome back to the Clash of Clans Beginners series. We are on our Town Hall 3 account. The whole idea of this series is that we are going right back to the start. With my years of knowledge of Clash, I can play through the game from the start and teach you everything you need to know to play the game correctly. Now, be sure to leave me a like, because I'll be honest with you guys, I just did about 10 minutes of recording, or I thought I did 10 minutes of recording, and I hadn't pressed record. Ouch. So that's how the game is actually underway. It was filled with gravestones and things before, and let me just quickly explain what we've done. Today's video, we are going to be using the Mass Goblins, and we are going to be showing you what farming is in essence, and the Mass Goblin strategy is one of the ways you can do that. We will be upgrading to Town Hall 4 relatively shortly, if not this episode, definitely the next. We moved to the laboratory. Now, the laboratory is where you upgrade your troops in order to get them stronger. We've started with the Barbarian. We're upgrading him to level 2, and basically you can continue to upgrade all of your troops. As you upgrade your Town Hall level, you can upgrade your laboratory, and that means that your troops can then be upgraded and become stronger. We've shown you the Barbarian and Archer strategy previously. It's linked up above if you haven't seen it, and we will try and get the Barbarian, Archer, and Goblin to level 2. As you can see, the Giant requires laboratory level 2, and in order to upgrade to level 2, we need to be Town Hall 4. It's all getting very complicated, but it's not really, guys. All of your buildings and troops are determined by your Town Hall level. So that gets through that. We've also started upgrading a storage, because basically it's very easy to cap out on golden elixir with your storages being full. So make sure you upgrade them storages as quickly as you can and take out the obstacles on the outside here, because you will get free gems for doing so. But basically the stone is a limited edition obstacle. You can use the shovel of obstacle to move that later on if you want, but the stone will not grow back, whereas everything else will. We did do an attack using the goblins. I actually got 10,000 gold and 10,000 elixir using only 30 goblins, which we calculated in the video that I thought was a video, but then I hadn't pressed record. In that video, we actually calculated that we only spent 240 elixir on the goblins and gained 10,000 back alongside 10,000 gold. So what do you want to look for in determining if you want to attack using the Mass Goblins? Now, looking at this base, you can see the gold mine. Notice how the actual cart from the mine and the little storage to the right of it is full. That means there's some gold in there. And you can steal more loot from the actual mines than you can the storage. The storage is harder. The villager is protecting it. So basically you can't steal as much from that. And also it's harder to get to. So if we look, them storages look pretty empty to me. Nothing in it. And there might be some stuff in there, guys. Basically there's only about 4 different images as you move through. But you can see that these all look full. This one's a low level collector, so you do have to take note of the level of the collector. However, this one is upgraded and it is still full. So there's definitely enough in there that we can take that out. And also look, they are on the outside of the base. So we should be able to just pop a couple of goblins on there. They're not going to attack anything else. The goblins literally just go for the loot-based buildings, so they won't attack defenses. And essentially, we can easily get the goblins onto there to take that out. Now, as you can see, it's working quite nicely. So let's move across to the other side of the base. Let's use a couple of others in order to finish that off. And look at that. We can actually put one down to this gold mine at the bottom. We don't have to worry about anything else because there's no defenses there. I'm actually going to put one more just to speed this up. The clan castle is a defensive building if it's got troops in it, if you will. But on this one, we attacked it last to make sure we didn't lure any, and he essentially isn't in a clan. He doesn't have any troops. Just because he's not in a clan doesn't mean to say there won't be any troops. People can leave a clan and still have troops in there, so do not fall for that trap. However, since it also holds your treasury, there are there are loot collected in there, gold, elixir, everything like that, and the goblins will take that down, boom, to give us some golden elixir. Now at this point, the only other thing we could do is, yes, we could finish this gold mine off, let's do it for argument's sake, and the only other thing we could do is try and push into the storages, but we've actually taken most of the loot, and it's harder to get in there now, isn't it? So if we back out, we used 26 goblins, again that is probably around about 200 elixir at the moment because there's an event on, and that gave us 6,000 gold and 10,000 elixir. So again, we are in the profit there, and farming essentially, that is all you are trying to do. Give yourself a profit. You're not really bothered about winning and losing the attack, although granted, you do want to keep within your league depending on where you like to farm. As you get further through the game, that will become clearer. This one, again, we've got 7,000. I think probably the gold is just the best one to go for here. Look, there's no mortar in the base, so there's no splash damage, which means our goblins should be able to get through that relatively easily. Now that the archer tower is also distracted, let's go ahead and put a couple down to the elixir pumps in order to help that as well. 20 goblins on that one. I'm not actually going to commit any more than that because essentially I don't really feel it's worth it. We've got most of the loot, and again we can back out of that. 20 goblins, and again that is a profit. That is what you want to do, just fast turnover, stuff like that. Like I said, as you get higher up in the game, you progress in the leagues, and basically you get a loot bonus as well. Now that loot bonus, depending on what league you are, can be relatively substantial. So you might want to ensure you win the attack in order to get that loot bonus. Also, you might want to win the attack to maintain your league position, or sometimes people will basically do two things at once. They will farm whilst they are trophy pushing, because there's different ways to play Clash of Clans, and a lot of people, wowzer, 30,000 gold, which look, most of it is in that storage, so we could get to, there is a mortar that would do a lot of damage to our goblins, but actually we can only store an extra 11,500 gold, so a lot of that would go to waste. There's actually not much point in pressing in for that, although we could have spammed the goblins in, took all of that, and basically that would have been enough. Now you wouldn't have wanted to put all 60 of them in just straight away because the mortar would take them out. You'd actually want to put like 10, then 10, then 10 in short, sharp little bursts, just in order to try and outsmart the mortar a little bit, if you will. That's how you would attack that base. But hopefully this episode is showing you the goblin strategy. Obviously this is one of many. As you unlock new troops within the game, there are also new strategies which you can play with, and let's check out this one. There is a mortar, but actually we should be able to surround it relatively easily, and it looks like also the loot is relatively easy to get. So let's start with the collectors here. I am going to again just surround things because the mortar can only shoot in one direction. So essentially if I continue to bring my goblins from each and every angle, it can only shoot at one little layer of goblins at a time, and as you can see, it's more than enough to continue taking this out. Now I am going to put the rest of my goblins in on this one to ensure we get all of the loot. That means we got the town hall there, we got the gold mine. Now they will attack defenses because there are no other loot buildings left, but the goblins, they are, you know, they're that weak that actually they're not going to take out this base. However, we did get the victory on this one. 2 stars, 58%, and a decent amount of golden elixir, and we got our star bonus. That is held within your treasury. Now you don't have to worry if you cannot collect it all. It will remain in that treasury as well, as you can see with the gold, so don't worry about that, you will not lose it. And at this point we have already capped out on gold again. We've actually moved on up to 54,000 elixir. Let's take a look at this. We have goblins continuing to cook up, so let's go ahead and continue to put them in. Now what is the event which is actually going on here? Tiny and shiny. And we have to must use 10 goblins. I wish I knew about that, because I would have been using more than 10 per raid. Although, oh, you have to win the battles. What am I talking about? You're going to win the battles, and we only won 1. Right. This gives us 30 gems though, and it also gives us a resource potion. That will basically mean that all of our mines and pumps will be sped up for an entire day. And I think there is nothing else to upgrade other than a gold storage we can upgrade, and it's this one. So let's go ahead and do that. That means that now everything is upgrading apart from the town hall. Let's rearm the traps, although in the new update you will no longer have to do that. So, as part of this episode, again, I am just jumping back on the beginners series. That is pretty much going to update you for today. I don't want to drag it out longer than what is needed. I will have to wait of my goblins here. So, in summary, we've shown you the goblin strategy. Any other tips, comments, anything like that, drop them down below, and myself or someone else in the community will help you out. And next episode, we will be upgrading to Town Hall 4. Exciting times. We will unlock the air defense, very, very powerful one, which we will need. We will get another barracks, and do we unlock? Yes. What do we unlock in here? Which one is it? It's the balloon! Yes, that opens so many other doors for us, and we will hopefully get to the wizard soon as well. So that is what we have to look forward to, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. That is going to wrap it up though. Until next time, peace out.